This episode is going to be a big one. After the success of blind enemies in Battlefield 5 Part 1, I'm going to do a second one, but the clips have been taken to the next level, and as you can tell from the length of this episode, there will be a lot for you guys to sit through, and trust me, it made me cringe for a lot of it as well, because I cannot get my head around how bad some enemies are. These clips you're seeing here are from Black Scorpion 87. Now this guy is a beast, and he would be killing these players whether they were clueless or not, but it is interesting to see how some of these enemies behave, especially after he slaughters a couple of them and then the teammates never react or try and take him down. Guzaris is next up, playing on Aerodrome, looking towards Charlie objective, spotting the entire enemy team trying to run into one single doorway, so he removes them with his tank. This is typical of Battlefield 5. Moving on, we've got Aldo the Apache. He's playing on Devastation of Rotterdam. He's got himself a nice position with his sniper rifle and sets to work on a selection of enemy players that don't seem to have any situational awareness whatsoever. Osama Shadid is next up, and he is using full boomer tactics. He's got an MMG, he's lying on the ground, on his back, blending in with the mud and the sandbags on an objective that he is defending, so the enemies are rushing towards him, and he just takes them all down. Now I don't know whether this is bad enemies, or whether this is just the game not allowing you to see people on the floor. I think it's a mixture of both. A load of kills though involved in this one. I wouldn't have included it in a normal top plays because I'm not a fan of this playstyle, but for this episode, anything goes. What do you make of it? Let me know in the comments. Alamistx is next up. He's going to be playing on Fiel 652. In a position where the enemy should be able to see him, he's next to a yellow crate, so would stand out. You would have thought one enemy nearly gets him, but he manages to react and take him down. A load of kills in this one, against enemies that should know better. I'm not one to include V1s in the Battlefield top plays, but this one was pretty well captured. An incredibly lucky moment. The Rush Shot is next up, playing on Devastation of Rotterdam, and he's going to be pulling off some clips against enemies that really don't do themselves any justice whatsoever. One of them will die, the one next to him won't even realise, and from that we get a nice little kill streak, with all of them dying in quick succession. Ferrari's next, playing on Devastation of Rotterdam in a position where you can get a load of dynamite kills over the sandbags and the fortifications. He does exactly that on a selection of camping enemies. A nice little mini rampage by JBomb. He's playing with the Tommy gun, pushing on a nice little flank on Alpha with enemies that just don't seem to realise he's there. Intel Batman is next up, and he's going to be pushing on Rotterdam towards the Alpha objective on this game of Ground Operations. Now, as you know, you have to capture the objectives in the sector, and he's doing exactly that on one of the most common flanking maneuvers. If you can get through, that is, it's very, very lucrative. He's checking around the buildings for campers and maybe for spawn beacons before he makes his move onto enemies that just don't do anything to stop him. A really nice clip. Next up we've got Maxi, and he's going to be playing on Rotterdam. He gets himself a beacon down, and he sets to work on enemies who either seem to have controllers that aren't working, or they're just not very good at the game.
What was that, dude? Oh, and then we got the head. I'm done. I'm done.
Monkeysway is next, parachuting down onto the bridge. Bit of twisted steel action here, looking down towards Alpha objective. He drops down and gets himself a load of kills.
We have eliminated half the enemy.
Grenade from!
Cycle 98 is next up. He's playing in the Scout class. Aerodrome inside the main section on Charlie. The Aerodrome itself. A nice clip, this one, on enemies that should, again, really know better. It fits in with this blind enemy situation because he can almost walk up to them and take forever to shoot them in the head. He waits for this guy to get revived before killing him just so he can get an additional kill. That really sums up the quality of enemies in this clip. He also sent in another clip on a RAS, which sums up enemies that really don't know how to play the objective, as he removes all of the enemy team, essentially, in one simple maneuver.
First enemy down.
Einladung sind bereit.
Toma Y is next. He's going to be playing on Devastation of Rotterdam, a map that is notoriously difficult to see enemies on, but he has no trouble, while the enemies that he's against are just not paying attention. He removes them from the game.
是发下来，这 H， 这 H for you.
Rigging charges.
别点神力有人。
이제 한번 나오지 않게 되지.
Abel Terendek is next. Now he's taking out enemies that are camping on Hamada, and I don't really blame him, to be honest, because this map is not great for pushing from objective to objective, but lying down prone out in the open is not clever whatsoever, and he punishes all of them with a selection of long-range sniper shots. Neon's next up, and he's playing on Devastation of Rotterdam. He's streaming as well, worth checking out if you like Battlefield 5 streams. This one is a nice clip as he looks to take out enemies, and the clip was a bit longer than this. He'd been in this situation a couple of times, taking out enemies, camping on that bridge. He dies, he comes back, and they still haven't moved, so he takes them out of the game.
Oh mate, it's a dead body. Why am I shooting that?
Hey, boy, man, let's go.
Nice.
Prootmaster 666 is playing on Fiel 652 in a similar position to a clip we saw earlier. The enemy team will rush around the corner and get blasted back to the spawn screen. Now for a selection of clips that I'm just going to let play towards the end of this video. The amount of clips I get sent in that could have been placed in this episode are just insane. I've tried to include as many as possible in this bumper episode. If you did enjoy, let me know in the comments below. Maybe you didn't enjoy, but it's still worth watching. I had a lot of trouble putting this episode together because of some of the ridiculous stuff I was seeing on the enemy team. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate the support on the channel lately. It's been immense. I'll catch you in the next episode.
shot. Careful.